Good afternoon, this is Patrick Von Dolan, San Antonio Family Association, bringing to you live the Community Health Committee of the City of San Antonio, where they're discussing Reproductive Justice Fund again.
I'm joined this afternoon by Dr. Anita Fury, Deputy Director of our department, as well as Troy Elliott, Director of the Finance Department. We'll be available to address questions and feedback that you may have following the presentation. Finally, I do want to add a special thanks to Dr. Julia Blue, our Medical Director of the Sion Elmore, the Administrative and Access Care Office, for anchoring this effort. So, again, you've seen a slide like this before. The current landscape, we've updated the slide since you've seen this last fall. Given what's being done in other large cities across the United States, as you can imagine, you've heard some commentary. Given the transition with the new administration earlier this week, this situation remains very fluid across a myriad of jurisdictions. So this is just a snapshot. It's not an exhaustive list reflecting cumulative amounts based on our own research. So keep in mind that the amounts shown for only the items passed as either part of the reproductive justice or reproductive health package. Funding for health education and children's line access exists across various municipal budgets, programs, and initiatives. So there may be a variety of funding streams to support these related activities on the ground, like local taxes, the general fund, or area foundations. This snapshot is simply intended to illustrate the various levels of commitment and investments across various cities and some common areas of alignment. So looking at primary prevention efforts anchored to health education, improve access to wraparound services and care, as well as access to abortion care, which could include care navigation for out-of-state travel. So for example, the City of Austin allocated $150,000 for abortion access in fiscal year 2020, and then $400K in FY24. So that line item that you see under abortion access is reflected on this slide. It's a roll-up. Harris County, their reproductive health access fund allocated about $4 million to 11 organizations on the ground.
They just finished public testimony. Yeah, I missed it. I just got it several months ago.
So this is a reminder of the framework that we shared last week. We had 3 formal presentations during the session last year. This was a schematic just to remind us all in terms of the ask reflecting the memo generated by District 6. So again, given the new requests that we received, these examples.
I believe that is Councilman Mark White, District 10.
Services. Just a reminder that the upstream work aims to increase economic stability as well as maintaining relationships, while midstream services may include enhanced access to trusted medical care or the full range of family planning services such as sexual health awareness or reproductive education. So by contrast, the downstream services focus on more direct care. This slide shows a list of examples that may be applicable using this framework. So home pregnancy tests, emergency contraception, so doulas, STI testing, and transportation, prenatal care, one reminder, in the RFP that we issued last year, the specific language regarding downstream simply reference that downstream activities will demonstrate gap in services for prenatal care, STI care, or abortion transportation to the extent permissible by law. Again, this is a reminder of what we've already invested in this portfolio. Thank you for the work of our departments last fall. For additional context, this is a reminder of where we landed with having this dedicated fund in response to the ballot decision. You may recall that the evaluation panel recommended a total award of $499,979 for area vendors. That was in Powerhouse, Black Support, San Antonio AIDS Foundation, and the YWCA. Again, since last fall, these organizations are off and running for the year-long efforts now underway. The council, the contracts were approved by council this past November and will expire for the year on November 30th, 2025. So I wanted to share a few highlights of what's been reported for the department based on activities that have taken place over the last few weeks. So for example, Black Support received 59 applications for the 10 available And the San Antonio AIDS Foundation performed screenings, post-7 screenings on sexually transmitted infections for women and individuals with female reproductive organs. So this is a reminder of the context given this afternoon's discussion. The first request for proposals, transportation to abortion care services was one available option. We assessed the gaps that were in reproductive health and invited vendors to devise proposed solutions. In the end, none of the 4 awardees or recommended awardees proposed abortion, transportation, or navigation. 2 out of the 10 respondents included these services as an element of a broader set of packages as part of their proposal. Coalition and Parent Plus. And just know that we had 10 applicants last time, 5 were interviewed, and there were 4 awardees. Parent Plus in particular was advanced immunity phase, was not recommended for final award. And just know that abortion and navigation is not missed any of the other respondents. So with that, the Council took action on November 21st and on November 22nd. Councilwoman Dale Palabra submitted a memo to address this specific need based on the feedback from Council. So this slide shows highlights of that memo. Its purpose is to provide downstream services that were not met to the already awarded funds, meaning the original 500K allocation anchored to the work of my department. This request is for an additional $100,000 targeting downstream activities, and the solicitation and eligibility will be restricted to the original 10 applicants. We would use the same scoring matrix as before. The timeline would be a 30-day solicitation followed by a 30-day review of the scoring period. And clearly, we defer to City Council probation, which the date to be determined. Keep in mind, one option for this afternoon's discussion is the glide path to a City Council A session, which would be one of the points of clarification and confirmation based on the discussions. So with that, one last context, and I'll wrap up my remarks. Further consideration, here are some lessons learned so far and insights gleaned from this process from the past year, including the potential obstacles that we anticipate may be experienced by applicants based on our interactions this past round. For example, one applicant posted on social media about their concerns about potential litigation. Again, given our work in the governmental context, open records requests are another burden for vendors that could be predicted or expected, given the delicate and high nature profile of this process. And routinely, the smaller vendors face challenges navigating the city's process for solicitations and contracting. So you may recall that we originally had the RFP open for about 36 days, and then we extended it for 42 days this past summer. We received questions during the pre-submittal conference about whether advance payments are allowed. We typically do that. So again, we'll refer to the purpose of the council with technical assistance provided by the finance department as we think about next steps. So with that, just want to say thank you. Just know that we depend on you in terms of clarifications of instructions. We know this is going to be a fairly fast-moving process, so we're listening for your expectations. We do want to be very clear about the eligibility of the applicants, and clearly we're committed to an expedited process as we did this past year. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jacob. And I believe Councilwoman Melissa Haverdahl has submitted a letter into the record to the city clerk, and I have handed that over to her in support of item number 2. Moving on to discussion and points of clarification. Thank you again. This is an item that I'm supportive of moving forward. I wanted to thank Mayor Ron Amber for continuing to advocate to ensure that this remains a priority and identifying the $100,000 to be earmarked for this. In terms of programming, I'm supportive of keeping them towards the downstream services, and with the timeline for the 30-day solicitation, the conversation that had taken place prior to the $500,000 was the very lengthy timeline and procurement process to identify the folks eligible. I understand the breakdown in which those who did include abortion travel in their RFP were not selected, and there was only 2, I believe, that included it in there. I'm hopeful that with this round we'll see more organizations apply for abortion travel to provide the much needed downstream services.
SBC to a revised RFP, and they have an opportunity to revise their solicitations and resubmit those.
Thank you. And just given, again, the need for these services and resources out in the community, I'm comfortable with the timeline and of course, the next step going to any session for action to disperse the funds to the folks that have been selected. I'll move on into discussion. If any of my colleagues have any comments or questions on the item, I'll get to you. Councilwoman Gibbon.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I am in support of another $100,000 to address downstream services. Because I think there's plenty that goes beyond just abortion navigation. However, I am, can you put up the potential barriers slide, please? With these potential barriers, is it possible that these 10 groups could decide, hey, we can use the $100,000 to help with downstream issues, but the barriers to abortion navigation are still too great and we're not going to submit, or will we just not review them if they don't have travel?
Thank you for the question again. This is based on our read of the proposal of these vendors. So this is what we're anticipating. We've had a couple of anecdotes. Who knows? What is real is that the chilling effect that we've experienced on the ground anecdotally is found. So we want to at least signal to you these potential areas is not a loss of investment. We, with the team, with the support of the procurement staff, we've done as much as we can in the first round to make sure that it's a little easier for vendors to go through this process. That's why we wanted to use the hurdles to experience this better.
I want to make sure we answer your question. It's up to the council, councilwoman. If you want to set it up so that it's downstream services with the expectation of seeing what we get back, or it could be specifically earmarked for a specific purpose, that would be completely up to council as to what direction that we give our procurement. Because hopefully that answered, I think your question was, can we set it up so it's $100,000 for downstream, and see if these organizations come back and say part of our downstream services is navigation? Yes, we can do that, is the answer to the question.
See, because I want $100,000 for downstream services. I want the agencies to come and tell me what they find more pressing or what they are willing to risk. I do not like the idea of us sitting here saying, keep on saying, no, that's not exactly what I wanted. So I'm gonna send it out to get exactly what I want. And I feel like I'm all for more. I don't think, if Houston's giving $2 million, I think San Antonio should give $2 million. So we're not there yet. So I'm gonna keep on looking
$2
for the
million.
$100,000 here, or the $250,000 there, until we hit that $2 million mark, because I think that's the least we owe the women of San Antonio. But to keep on, to try and paint our vendors and providers into a corner when they're the front line, I have a problem with, because we don't know what risk they're taking. We can anticipate what we as a city are maybe at risk for, but to ask them to do that is something different. So I want to move this forward, but I want them to see what they need, what downstream issues are most pressing, and how they would package an abortion navigation in a grant issued by a government entity in the state of Texas. Does that make sense? So that's where I'm at with that. I think I'd be comfortable with a good $2 million for our services and break it up. But right now we're at the amount of money that we have, $500,000 with $100,000 that we're looking to target downstream activities with the original 10 applicants. And the other thing though is I'm glad for the turnaround. I think we need to stick with the original 10 applicants, but as we move to the future, I think we need to open it up to more agencies. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I have a question. On the memo, it says for briefing purposes. Is that true, so there's no action needed?
Was not. I haven't seen it, Councilwoman, but, yeah, I'd be surprised if it said for briefing only.
It says for briefing only.
I just say briefing, but the title says briefing and possible action.
Okay. If the title said, because it was intended to be briefing and possible action.
Got it, okay. So I just wanted to clarify that, because the memo said that. And then, can you remind me where the money comes, from in the budget?
Thank you, sorry, could you repeat the question?
Yeah, can you remind me where the money would come from in the budget?
Yeah, so based on the deliberation here, we could identify that support from our department, from our current FY25 operating budget.
Okay, and then, the current funds that were already distributed, do we know already how they're being spent?
So other than that, I gave a few examples of what's been reported back to us. Again, this was approved by council on the 21st of November, and we said we received the December report, so that's what we know for now.
No problem. And remind me, what was the source of that funding?
So that funding was anchored to the work of the department for the FY24 operating budget, or adoption, budget adoption.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Those are all my questions now. Thank you.
Any additional comments? If the city clerk can please read the letter to the record from Councilwoman Melissa Montreal, please. Dear Chairwoman Castillo and members of the Community Health Committee, I am writing to strongly support the allocation of $100,000 in funding for out-of-state logistical support for abortion services as part of the Reproductive Justice Fund. This funding is crucial for ensuring access to essential health care for all San Antonio residents, especially in light of the restrictions on reproductive rights in Texas. The need for this funding was highlighted in the October 16, 2024 City Council discussion, where council members and the mayor recognized the exclusion of abortion travel funding as a critical oversight. Residents in our city deserve the ability to make decisions about their own bodies without facing unnecessary barriers. Our nearest clinic is over 500 miles away in Santa Teresa, New Mexico, an 8-hour drive. Many individuals will be unable to access the services they need without assistance, which is why the funding is essential. This issue goes beyond health. It's about fundamental right to control one's own body and reproductive health. Reproductive justice ensures that individuals can access abortion services without political interference or discriminatory barriers. Additionally, I want to address concerns regarding the disqualification of some nonprofit organizations from the request for proposal RFP. These organizations should not be excluded due to the fiduciary relationships, as their expertise and resources are essential to the success of this fund. It is also vital that the Metropolitan Health District ensures strict confidentiality for women supported by this fund. The privacy and safety of those seeking assistance must be protected. This funding is critical to address the broader health challenges Texans are facing. With alarming statistics on maternal mortality, uninsured women, and teen birth rates, our commitments to reproductive justice has never been more urgent. I urge the city to act swiftly and transparently to ensure the Reproductive Justice Fund can meet the needs of our residents. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Councilmember Melissa Cabello Haberda.
Mayoral candidate.
Lastly, I concur with Councilmember John on the need to continue to invest in this fund. In comparison to the other cities listed in the presentation, we're lagging. And I remember, I believe in 2019, I listened to a TPR interview regarding the city's emergency management plan, and Dr. Ochoa was being interviewed, and essentially what she talked about, the work starting before the disaster hits, right? And what comes to mind is the community organizations and the nonprofits who gave public comment today and have been organizing prior to the change in administration to ensure that San Antonio women have access to the care that they deserve, and not waiting for a shift in administration to do that work. So I commend y'all for y'all's continued advocacy, and I hope that this work continues with future budgets, because it's very much needed, and just appreciate the public comment that we heard today. And with that, I think we can move on to Councilman Rodriguez.
Yes, I'm so sorry, Chair. I forgot to ask one more question. And so if we move this forward today, can I still ask like some other questions and see like what else comes in. I only have like 4 minutes here, so. I guess can I send my questions to you or get with your team? When would it go to council when they ask the question?
Based on this discussion here, so.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, thank you.
And Chair, can we go into exec really quick? I have some legal questions that I'd like to flesh out.
All right, so the council is now going to go into an executive session at 2:36 p.m. The Community Health Committee will now meet in executive session to consult with the city attorney's office and to deliberate on legal issues related to item 2.
Yeah, our lawsuit. No, they're going to adjourn. They're going to some back room. I didn't hear it because I wasn't here yet either. But I'm sure they did. Yeah, parking is a chore. All right, they just wrapped up the presentation and committee member discussion, asking questions, and these are all women from the councilwomen. 2 of them are running for mayor, Haverda and Arocha Garza, who are pro-abortion radicals who want to spend taxpayer money to harm women, to ferry them out of the state of Texas so they can buy an abortion to kill their baby and have the taxpayers pay for it. So join with the San Antonio Family Association. Go to sanantoniofamilyAssociation.com, sanantoniofamilyAssociation.com for more information as we continue to fight this unethical and immoral abuse of taxpayer funds.